Hello and welcome back to my channel. We're switching locations today to get some more sun. Oh my gosh, I'm already in a better mood seeing all the sunlight. Guys, Q2 is almost over. How are we feeling? How's everybody doing? Oh man, it's been a very interesting quarter. Wow, have we learned a lot, and wow, have we done a lot. It's actually insane how much I've grown in the last 90 days if I reflect. And that's what this is all about, this video. If you're new here, my name is Erica. I own the 128 Collective, so we're an operations firm. We work with digital delivery teams, and what we do is we help them build these systems. Now, the systems have three key focuses. One, we're trying to improve delivery margins. Two, we're trying to expand capacity without adding headcount, and no, that does not mean just throwing more tasks at FTEs. And three, we're trying to build the systems in a way that they can grow with the company without the founder needing to be involved in every piece of the delivery process. So we work with 11 to 50 person digital delivery teams, and that's what we do. I'm the founder of the 128 Collective, and as a founder, I also have a lot of other passions, and one of that is helping other ambitious females step up to the plate. We need your experience, we need your expertise, we need your passion, we need your drive. We need more female entrepreneurs. And that is something that is very near and dear to my heart. And that's the whole reason I started this channel. So this channel is for the ambitious females that are either building careers or building businesses, or they have the ambition to do so. And so all of the content here cycles around that. We have three content pillars: revenue operations, which help teach you how to run your business. This week is revenue operations. We're gonna get to it in a second. The second thing is behind the scenes of building a business. So this is a lot of day in the life vlogs, or just really raw and real looks at what it's like to be a business owner right now, because it's crazy. And the third is the 128 life. So the 128 Collective was named for the 128 hours outside of a typical 40-hour work week. So that's more focused on holistic wellness, making the most of your life as a business owner and not working to live, but instead living to work. Adopting more of a non-American work mentality. So in today's video, we're talking about quarterly strategy retreats. Now, don't shut down when I tell you this, because what we're talking about today, it doesn't require you to go book an Airbnb in Bali or go to the beach for the weekend or anything like that. You can do that if that's within your means, but if that's not a tangible grab for you, then this is also something that you can scale back. And we're gonna be talking through that today. So the thing I want us to ground ourselves in to start here is I think this is Tony Robbins' concept, but where focus goes, energy flows, and then results will naturally follow. Most goal setting that you come across is going to treat life and ambitions as two separate avenues. If you are an ambitious female who's growing a business or growing a big career, then we don't get that luxury. Business and life are one and the same for us. The goals that we set for our business, they change our life as well. They change the time we wake up. They change how we spend our free time. They change the type of people that we hang out with. It changes what type of thoughts we're constantly feeding ourselves. It changes how you spend your Friday night. And the third quarter of the year is a big one. Why is that? Q3 is what I view this as the decision maker of the year. So Q1, you're ramping up. Q2, you're also ramping up. Like the first half of the year is very hit the ground running, and Q4 is very just results focused. We're grinding it out, right? Q3 is your last real chance to determine what the results at the end of this year are gonna look like. This is our 90-day sprint to make some crazy, crazy changes in our business and in our life, so we have those compounding results. And that is why I really want to drive home this idea of the quarterly retreat before Q3 hits us in the face. So what we're going to be talking about today is how to reverse engineer your Q3 strategy. And I'm going to be walking through mine as a framework. But when I say reverse engineer it, you want to start at the end. So start at what you want the end of the 90 days to look like, and then we're going to work backwards. What kind of person do I need to be every single day? What kind of results do I need to be producing every week and at the end of every month to produce this quarterly goal? So my Q3 goal for my business, my Q3 strategy. If you've been watching my videos, you know that this year has been insanely hard for the service-based industry, with artificial intelligence being the biggest industry disruptor we've seen since the dot-com bubble. It's insanely hard. We are just trying to survive the year. And I've talked to actually a lot of companies. I've been very validated in the last month. I've talked to a wide range of company types and, people making millions per year, people making 20K per year. Everybody in our sector right now is having a time. So my ambition is to still have a business next year. And so how do we do that? We add revenue at the simplest form. If you take away all the other bells and whistles, The only thing I need to focus on is adding revenue. Once we get revenue in the door, then we can focus on all the other bells and whistles that we were focusing on in Q4 of last year and in Q1 of this year. All right, so I have my end goal. I need to work it back. So I asked myself, all right, how do you add revenue? So I broke this down into 3 buckets. 1, we design an offer that solves a problem in the market. Okay, how do you design that? Market research. All right, that's bucket 1. 2, you package it in a way that makes it impossible for people to say no. How do you do that? Positioning. Got it. Okay. 3, you create as many opportunities as possible for people to say yes. How do you do that? Marketing. So that is my reverse engineered goal, my objectives, the things I need to produce, right? So how do we design a quarterly retreat to set ourselves up to plan for this? This is where we get into more of the like how to structure this time for you. So like I said in the beginning, most people, they hear retreat and they picture, the founders on Instagram that are flexing these really cool trips. That is awesome. If you can do that, run it. Like I said, right now, my focus is being able to pay my people, pay my expenses, pay myself, and keep the business afloat through this winter and pivot so we survive into next year. I am not spending money on a retreat. That is aspirational for me. I would love to be able to do that, but that is also a barrier for a lot of people because if the retreat requires a flight and 3 days away, most people, they don't want to do that. They have pets, they have families, they have significant others, they have like other commitments, or they just simply don't have the means to go do it right now. So that is not required for what we're building here. The real power is not in the location, although having that locational difference can help, but the location is just a container. What we do within that container is what makes a difference in your next quarter. So let's talk about why retreats work first. First, psychological separating from your normal operating mode. You're not just, keyboard warrioring away or like at the same coffee shop every single time. It tells your brain this is different. 2, protected time with no incoming demands. So you have key strategy time and it's not just your deep work during the week where you know that you got to roll into client delivery later. 3, a structured sequence. This is big. You want it to move you through reflection, to visioning, to planning. All 3 of those are key components to a quarterly strategy retreat. And then finally, some type of ritual or signal that this is not a normal daily event. You need to signal that to your brain. Now, all of this is achievable in a Saturday morning. Yes, I'm asking you to sacrifice one Saturday morning in 90 days, or however many weeks that is. The question we're answering is how do you design that when you can't use geography to just create all of those benefits for you? So we're gonna go over separation, structure, and boundaries. Let's start with separation. So how do you mentally leave your daily life without actually physically leaving it? So depending on where you're at, maybe you can take a day trip to a nearby city and you can go work at a cafe you've never been to before or a park. The thing here for this retreat is that you don't need Wi-Fi. Actually, I encourage you to not use Wi-Fi. I encourage you to just be with yourself and your brain and a pad of paper and a pen. This could be even easier. You could simply put your phone on airplane mode and put on a focus playlist that you've never ever listened to before. The key with separation is you have to tell your brain that this is not a work day. This is not just a home work session. This is not normal. We've never done this. You have to change up some type of variable in some way. That could be scent, sound, touch, smell. I think I said smell. Think about your sensory environment and try to change as many of those components as possible. 2, structure. So the question is, how do you do this without a facilitator? We are going to walk you through a set of structured questions that's coming in a moment here, but you're gonna move through that. You're gonna pre-write them down on paper. You're gonna have it all set up and organized and ready for you to go. And 3, boundaries. So if you choose to do this at home, maybe you just choose to move into a different room, you still have disruption risks. So how do you combat that? For example, my partner, he loves to come knock on my door when I'm working and just ask an innocent question. He doesn't think anything of it. Or like there's always a neighbor at the door or the dog needs to go outside. If you can't afford the coffee shop, I encourage you to walk down the road to the park or go to the public library or go somewhere that's free. Like I said, Wi-Fi is not a requirement. You don't need to worry about that. Go somewhere else. Go to your parents' house, go to your friend's house. Anything you can do to just get out and have those boundaries for a day. So what is the structure for this meeting? Let's get into it. I have six different things you're gonna walk yourself through. So we can't move forward until we reflect on what's happened. That is a no-brainer, right? So we're gonna look at wins. You're gonna think about Q2 wins. What went really well last quarter? Where did we win? What worked? What was completed? Take some time, give yourself some dang credit. I had a lot of losses this quarter, but when I think back on it, I had a lot of wins. I had a lot of big wins that I've envisioned for my business for so long. Don't overlook those, even if they're not quantifiable. You know, it's not like, oh, we brought in $60,000 more in revenue per month. The next thing you're gonna do is your Q2 lessons. And so this is where you look back at the last 90 days and you're like, what did we learn? What would I do differently moving forward? What did the last 90 days just teach me? Make sure that you create space to think about those. All right, the third thing is clarifying the target. Where do you wanna go? On September 30th, where do you wanna be? Where do you want to be setting yourself up in a certain way? What do you want that outcome to look like? For example, I just want my business to survive until next year. To have a business next year, I need to increase revenue. I need to be focusing on monthly recurring revenue. That's the whole focus. And you need to account for personal, professional capacity, energy, and bandwidth when you are creating that target. What is realistic, or what are you willing to give up or move to make that happen? 4, eliminate the BS and get focused. What do you need to stop doing or deprioritize in order to make that target a reality? If your focus for 90 days is going to be revenue, what is the fluff that doesn't support it? You got to be real with yourself. Where are you burning time? For me, it's going to networking events and then getting coffee with every single person afterwards who asks me. And I mean that in the kindest way possible, but that is eliminating the BS and getting focused. 5 is creating the plan. So how do you reach your 90-day goals? You got to work it backwards. So for me, like I said, I asked myself, how do you add revenue? Hold on, I'm just moving my notes. You design a problem, or you design an offer that solves a problem in the market. Okay, cool. How do you do that? Market research. I already have market research calls set up. I'll be doing that. I need to validate a product market fit. And if it's not there, then we got to pivot. 2, you package it in a way that makes it impossible for people to say no. How do you do that? Positioning. You study sales techniques. You study the consumer behavior right now. You study your customer journey, psychology, all of those things. What is getting the market to move right now? Making sure that your ICP is razor sharp. 3, create as many opportunities for people to say yes. How do you do that? Marketing, proximity, and visibility. What are the highest leverage ways that I can do that in Q3? That is my entire focus. And the 6th part of your agenda is to figure out an accountability structure. So did your structure in Q2 work for you? And if not, change it. One idea for structure is to use agile methodology. So that is where you run your quarter in sprints. So you have, your 90-day goal, and then you break it down, and every 2 weeks you have a goal that you're working towards. So it's like achieve, and you create these feedback loops, and there's a lot more to it. If that's interesting to you, I'm running a full challenge with my personal goals right now, like well outside of my business, over on my TikTok. That's just tiktok@ericastattley.com. It's a surprisingly great way to get really dang focused. So if that's something that you're interested in, or if you're interested in exploring a different type of accountability strategy, that might be something to check out. But otherwise, good luck. Have your at-home retreat maybe next Saturday, and make sure that you focus on the 3 things. So structure, get out of your daily routine, separation, get out of your daily routine, structure, follow the 6-step framework that I laid out, and boundaries. So what are you going to be allowing to bring into your space, and how are you making sure that you fully shut off and get focused? Good luck. If you feel comfortable, drop in the comments what you're working towards in Q3, and let's talk about it. I will see you all next week. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps me, and hit subscribe so you get notified when next Saturday's goes up. Bye.